My son's baby monitor alerted me at 3 a.m. What I saw on the camera will haunt me forever. I was working late when my 3-year-old's monitor alerted me to sound and movement just after 3 a.m. No big deal. He probably coughed or something. I brought it up on my phone and saw him with my wife sitting on his bed. Again, no big deal. I was about to close the app when I noticed they were acting strange. Creepy as hell, actually. They were sitting together, both staring up at the camera with blank, emotionless stares. The night vision made their eyes look white and eerie. They didn't move at all aside from breathing, just sat there staring. I closed the app and called my wife. It rang a couple times before she answered with a very groggy hello, like she was dead asleep, but she looked wide awake on camera. Hey, you guys okay? Huh? Yeah, Tyler came in like 15 minutes ago. He seemed scared, so I said he could sleep with Mama. I was confused since I saw them in his room a minute ago. Literally 60 seconds had passed. Wait, so you guys are in bed? Yeah, I fell back asleep right away. Everything okay? Hang on a sec. I put her on speaker and brought up the app. When it loaded, I got that pang of intense nervousness. My heart leaped into my throat. My wife and son were sitting on his bed looking up at the camera. Same emotionless stare. You guys are in bed, right? Yeah, we're trying to sleep. Well, I'm looking at his camera and I see you two sitting on his bed. Huh? Number, we're in our bed. Hang on, she said. She went quiet while bringing up the camera on her phone. I heard this guttural, terrified gasp, like she'd sucked all the air in the room into her lungs. I heard rustling sheets, then the line went dead. I was absolutely terrified, so I immediately called back. Voicemail. I called again and again. Finally, after 4 minutes, she called me. Those 4 minutes felt like 40 years. Hey, what's happening? I asked. She was hysterical and crying. I couldn't understand a word. Stop. Slow down for just a second, I said. She explained they were in the car driving to her parents. She looked at the camera, saw what was on it, got up, grabbed our son, and rushed out. Didn't even close the garage. You will not go in there, she said when I offered to close it. Hell no, I returned. Why are we on the camera? Is it a recording? I don't know. Do our code words with Tyler. We have code words because we're nerds. We've seen too many imposter movies, so we made them up to tell if one of us was fake. I heard her on the phone saying the things we taught our son. He giggled as he said them. We're both convinced he's our son. My wife then said our part, and I'm convinced she's her. She got to her parents safely. I told her we'd figure it out in the morning. Hopefully just a glitch. She said she didn't think it was a glitch. When she was running out, she had to pass our son's room and the door was open. When she ran by, she thought she saw out of the corner of her eye a shadowy outline of an adult sitting on our son's bed. I kept checking the camera. Sure enough, they were still sitting there staring up with emotionless gazes. I studied them to see if I could find any pattern. Their breathing looked normal, but their blinking would tell me if this was just some bizarre looped video. There was no pattern to their blinking. It was erratic and random, just as normal blinking should be. The passing hours sealed the deal. This wasn't a weird looped video. My son's window is visible on camera, and I could see it getting lighter outside. I decided to tell my coworker about it. He's a firm believer in the paranormal. I showed him the video and told him the story. His response of, "That's creepy as hell," didn't help much, but he wanted to check it out. I agreed we could go to the house to close the garage. We walked through the kitchen toward the foyer where the stairs are. It's so quiet you could hear a feather drop. We stopped at the bottom of the stairs. I looked at the camera again, and they were still sitting there. I've never been so scared in my life. We heard a loud creak in the floor from upstairs. It's my son's room. He has a very loud, creaky board right in the middle that's almost impossible not to step on. Come on, come on, come on! I yelled. We were out of the house in 2 seconds. Out on the street, I checked my phone. Now only not my son was sitting on the bed. Same blank stare. Not my wife was gone. I used my garage door opener to close the door. Before we left, I looked at the camera again. Not my wife was back on the bed with not my son, both staring blankly up at the camera. That was 4 days ago. Not my wife and not my son are still sitting on the bed staring at the camera. They haven't moved a millimeter. We haven't gone back to our house. We've been staying with her parents. Last night, my wife couldn't sleep. I need to see him, she said. Before I could stop her, she grabbed the car keys and left. I immediately pulled up the camera, my heart pounding. My wife appeared on the screen, standing in our son's doorway. The entities didn't react as she approached the bed tentatively. Suddenly, both entities turned their heads in unison to look directly at my wife. Their mouths opened impossibly wide in silent screams. Their eyes rolled back. My wife recoiled, but didn't run. That's when not my son slowly raised one long, spindly arm and pointed directly at the camera, directly at me. His mouth moved, speaking in a voice I couldn't hear, but I could read his lips. Daddy's turn.